Hey, what's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 170 and the 2021 SojuTalk Kpop Awards.
Wow.
Woo. I'm Doug, and joining me today we got Anita.
Hello.
And wait, and Warren.
Hello, it's me, Warren.
Yo, we haven't done this in like 2 weeks. We're all messed up. We are recording. I forgot to say when we're recording. It's December 30th. You know, we all came back from our vacations. It's rusty. It is what it is. We're gonna plow through these awards. But as a quick reminder, check us out on SojuTalk. Check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform. Sub to us on YouTube and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. All right, we're a mess already. A quick preview of the awards, though. Today we will be awarding the following awards: Rookie of the Year, male and female; Best Solo Artist, male and female; Sleeper Song of the Year, that's individually given out; Boy Group Excellency, and Girl Group Excellency. So we picked 3 of each, and then our 4 Daesangs, which are Boy Group of the Year, Girl Group of the Year, Song of the Year, and Artist of the Year. All right, we got through that. A quick disclaimer. Number 1. The 3 of us think it was objectively a pretty weak year for K-pop. Number 2, these awards are going to be absolutely super subjective. Like, we are not totaling up album sales. We are not totaling up music show wins, anything like that, or how long you've been sitting on the charts. This is 100% subjective, and we are going on our gut feelings on this.
All feelings.
Bear with us, because oftentimes album sales does not reflect popularity of music and the artists. And the quality of the music itself. Wait, I don't agree with the first half of what I said. What I meant to say was the statistics oftentimes doesn't represent the quality of the music. That is what I'm trying to say. So bear with us on that. All right, let's start the awards. Rookie of the Year male, you know? So these are groups that debuted in the calendar year of 2021. So groups that were in the later half of the year, November, December last year, do not count. You had to debut in 2021. This was one of the hardest awards for me to give out, for sure.
It was rough for me too.
Same.
This one was a struggle and a half. I didn't know who to give it to. I was debating Cypher.
Me too.
Kingdom. Mide. Epic sold a lot of albums, surprisingly. That group. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of any of those groups. I think if I was going to choose between those ones, I was leaning between Kingdom because I like what they're doing, and probably either I was gonna go Cypher because I think Dongpyo has a lot of power. That being said, I gave it to none of those groups. I gave it to the group that I think has the most potential and I think is doing the most creative stuff. So I'm giving it to Extraordinary Heroes.
Wow.
Very nice.
Wow, Happy Death Day just came out. They're doing this extremely heavy emo thing, reminiscent of My Chemical Romance in the 2000s, right? Early 2010s.
A retro feel, yeah.
Retro feel, extremely, almost even forced emo right there. They're the one group out of all the ones we listed that I really just listened to the song. I don't know if I really like Happy Death Day, but at the end of the day, they're the one that I thought about the most when I thought about the male groups that debuted in this year.
I agree. Yeah, I also had them down. And I was particularly struggling with this category for male rookies just because I feel like it was really hard for me to pick a group that stood out. And in that sense, Extraordinary Heroes kind of had that quality where they're more of a band. They have that band sound, so I could pick them out. I remember their song much more easily. And I agree. I don't know if I am into the sound right now, but I am looking at their potential and how are they going to differ from Daesangs? Because that's their label mates. So I think that will be interesting in the coming year.
I think Extraordinary Heroes had an interesting start, right? Gained a lot of traction and had a lot of conversation around it. But I gotta say, I wasn't very excited about their first debut. The debut that I was really excited about was Killa by Mire, also known as Mire Sonyeon or Future Boys.
Right.
So I was going through a lot of the rookie boy groups that came out this year, and then
God
this
damn
one
it.
stood out.
I got them mixed up, I think. when I was talking about Dongpyo, he's the one in Mire.
Yeah, he's in Mire.
Cypher is the rain group, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I always get Mire and Cypher always mixed up, but I agree.
Know why. Yeah.
I think Mire would have been my choice if I didn't pick Extraordinary Heroes.
Yeah, I think they're off to a good start. I wasn't super into their following releases, but I gotta say the finish and the quality of the first debut was actually a lot better than you could expect from a lot of debuts. So that's my nomination. That's my pick. Killa by Mire, the boy group, Rookie of the Year.
So they released Killa and Splash, right? They sold 30,000 albums and 50,000 albums. That's not bad.
Not bad.
No,
They
they're
do
off
have
to
a pretty bright
start.
future. And honestly, I think this year for boy groups was pretty weak sauce for the debuts.
For new groups, yeah.
In terms of the big, like they were like, I know Extraordinary Heroes is probably the biggest name inherently because they're from JYP, but like I don't feel like anyone really gained the extreme amount of traction so far. So I think the playing field is still open for this class of boy groups. We'll have to see though. But via our voting system, Extraordinary Heroes is awarded the Soju and are this year's Rookie of the Year male. Boom.
Congrats.
All right, Rookie of the Year female.
Easy.
I don't think it's easy, Anita.
Is it easy?
Well,
I'll go to my conclusion first before my explanation. I'm giving it to IVE. I know they released one song, 11, right? Really recently. The other group, the group that I also was really debating was Purple Kiss because they have done like
right, yeah.
they did 2 songs and a holiday song this year, right? So I was debating because I like the Panzana and I like Zombie. I was close on that one. Additionally, Billy Ring X Ring. I know people are really into that song, but overall, I just don't feel comfortable giving them Rookie of the Year female. And then lastly, Lightsome. I just haven't been a fan so far. So I'm giving it to IVE 11. I don't think I'm really giving it on everything they've done in 2021. It's a combination because they have been most successful objectively in terms of the numerics, music show wins album sales.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Number 2, they clearly have the most potential and they will be a really big group in 2022, I'm predicting. Like, I'm talking already upper mid tier for them. If they're going to continue to win music shows as they're doing right now, people are going to notice them. So that's why I'm giving it to IVE.
I'm also giving it to IVE for all of those reasons. And I guess for me, like we mentioned before, this category, it's necessary to look at how the reception is, right? Like what was the debut like? But I also feel like the expectation and the possibilities with these groups is very important. And I feel like IVE definitely has it. Like they exceeded my expectations in some extent in their debut, and I feel like they will also exceed in the coming year. I don't know. I feel like they're really rising really fast. I'm honestly really curious how they're gonna manage their sound, their concept, because they're so young. They are so young.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to it.
Before I go into who I actually chose, I want to shout out 2 groups that are lesser known, and we haven't talked about yet, and that's Pixie and Tri-B. So
yeah.
I forget who, but when I was streaming last night, someone mentioned them that I should check them out. So I did today. I think they were off to a great start. They had a lot of releases this year already, much of which I'm not going to say perfect, but are off to a good start. But I gotta say, I agree with you, both of you guys. I was off to a great start. The amount of it feels like a complete release already. That's the impression I'm getting with this. In their debut.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't feel like the rookie group that's like, kind of getting there. It felt like it felt very professional. And maybe it's because they're from a more known company or, they have the capital and the resources. Sure. But at the end of the day, what they gave us was a complete package and it felt really nice. And this was kind of surprising because when you're debuting groups in 2021, stuff like lore and all that is like kind of a required thing now.
Very common, yeah.
Right. It to the point where like if you're debuting a group without any of that, it feels like they're kind of slacking a little bit. I obviously didn't do that. and I didn't get that impression. It felt very complete, very professional. And I agree with you guys. I'm very excited for what they have in store for us for 2022. Obviously, there's a lot of fan support already, thanks to the couple of famous members. The members we just met, thanks to the debut.
Shout out to Liz.
Well. Yeah.
Shout out to Liz.
yeah. So I also choose Ive.
Yeah, honestly, like I couldn't see myself giving it to anyone else once I really sat down and thought about it. Like I was debating Purple Kiss, but at the end of the day, if you think about like I know Ive has only one song, it's only been like a month or so or whatever, but like in terms of impact already, clearly Ive is already mid-tier girl group and they're just gonna probably rise more. Because how many girl groups are already sold 100,000 albums, right? So, all right, Rookie of the Year female, the Soju is going to Ive. I don't think any of them can drink it or barely any of them, but their company Starship can enjoy the Soju this year. Boom.
Congratulations.
All right, best solo artist male. Another big sigh here. This is an extremely difficult category, mostly because all of the big hitters only released one song, right?
Yeah.
Baekhyun, Bambi, Key, Bad Love, Taemin with Advice, right? Those are probably the three biggest male artists that released music this year. I would assume it kind of comes down to those two, but I was super close to giving it to Woods because he released 2 songs. He released Feel Like and Waiting. But I think that Feel Like was the better of those 2 songs. But at the end of the day, I was debating which song of those 3 big hitters, Key, Taemin, and Baekhyun, that I enjoy the most. I know that if we're going on sales metrics, you have to give it to Baekhyun because he clearly sells a ridiculous amount of albums all the time.
Right.
But the song that I like the most out of those 3 is Key's Bad Love. So I'm giving best solo artist male to Key.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm glad we're mentioning this song because we didn't get to cover it for the show.
That's one of our biggest oofs of 2021.
Biggest oofs, yeah. I also had a short list, and I was struggling with this category as well. My choice ended up being Baekhyun for the reason that you mentioned, that he did really well with his release of Bambi. The sales were really great. I don't know if it's my favorite release that he had for his solo run recently, which is why I was like iffy about it. But I thought it was still really successful, so that's why I gave it to him.
Boom.
Nice. I mean, it was a very successful EP. I think it left me wanting a little more, if anything. Which that's a good sign, right? That's usually a good sign because I want more. But someone that did feel like someone who had a lot of impact in the general Korean media sphere this year was Key.
He was everywhere.
Right? He was everywhere. Musically wise, he did put out 1 EP and then a pre-release before that, which is considerably less than Woods, who, like you mentioned, I think he had 3 songs actually instead of 2, because I remember Lullaby as well. But even then, it had a pretty solid impact. His stuff, he shined through. His stuff was shiny as well. And then, like you mentioned, Anita, he was everywhere with the variety shows. Right. There was a little bit of a scandal here and there, but that's, I think, that's just a little pimple, It's been popped. It's good. And it's smooth now. Acne gone.
Healed.
So, I think Key did a really nice job. Sure, maybe male solo artists were kind of underwhelming this year, but I think Key did a nice job, and we got to recognize that. So, shout outs to Key.
When we think of the shiny premier solo artists, everyone thinks of Taemin, but I honestly think Key released a better song this year. So
he held his own. Yeah,
Advice was good too.
I like good. Advice. Yeah.
Shout out to Supreme Crop Tops, but we gotta give it to Bad Love and No J. So the best solo artist male, Key gets the Soju this year. Shout out to Key.
Congrats.
All right, I am assuming our awards shows is already extremely controversial at this point. Let's move on to best solo artist female. I think there are 4 female solo artists that are under contention for this one this year. It's IU, Somi, Chungha, Taeyeon, right? If we want to go through them, I think you don't give it to Taeyeon because What Do I Call You was released on December 15th.
Not quite qualifying.
Right.
If that was released in January and she released Weekend in July, I think she has a really strong argument, right? But that's not the case. So that's why I eliminated her. What's her name? Somi released Dum Dum and XOXO. I'm not the biggest fan of those songs, although I think Somi had a way better year than she typically does because we got
Growth,
2 releases from her. We got a lot of growth. I hope we get some horizontal movement in the future, but we're heading in the right direction. But I really think this award comes down to IU or Chungha. Chungha released 3 tracks, main tracks. I'm gonna say X, Bicycle, Killing Me. That's a pretty strong lineup.
That was
right?
good.
Those are some good songs. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to IU because she released Celebrity, Lilac, Coin, Strawberry Moon, did a feature on Akmu's Naka, and that whole Pieces EP is pretty good. That's a lot of stuff to do in this year because we've been getting a lot of actress IU as of late, right? But this year was almost fully focused on the music, and I honestly think she hit a grand slam, so I'm giving it to IU.
Same. IU. I also feel like her start with Lilac just really set the tone, and I like the whole concept of it, and I don't know, I just feel like that was like the main thing that I remember from her this year, and I feel like she stood out because of it, because of that album and how much work went into it. The music video for the song was really, really beautiful. I don't know, I liked her work there, and also I don't know, I feel like even the singles that she released afterwards, like Strawberry Moon, like I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but I still feel like it held its own, like it had presence and it was still winning music shows until a couple of weeks. So definitely feel like she was really strong this year.
She was very strong this year. It's one thing to wrap up your 20s and then move on to your 30s.
Right.
But then it's another whole ordeal to use that as inspiration for this entire creative project she had with the album Lilac, as well as the Pieces EP and all of the stuff she did recently. This I felt like, sometimes I didn't like her songs, but creatively speaking, she made a lot of risky and challenging decisions, and at the end I think they all paid off really, really well. And this felt like a big celebration in her career, and I, at the end of the day it was very convincing. It was great. I do want to shout out Chungha though. Like Chungha was great too.
Her clear number 2 this year.
Her full length LP was looking back, it was one of the better albums of the year. Cadencia, and it had like 20 tracks on it. It was great. You guys should check it out. But I gotta pick IU over her. Sorry.
Boom. So a sweep. So the best solo artist female is going to our Lord and Savior IU. So boom. All right, we're at underrated sleeper song of the year. We award this individually, so we basically each give out an award for this one. It's what we do every year. So this is it's like a fun award here. It's completely subjective. No metrics here. It's literally just a song that we like that just didn't get a ton of popularity. I'm giving an award to CIX's Cinema.
Whoa.
That's a great song. I like that.
That is a great song.
Yeah.
It is actually appearing in some American news articles as one of the best K-pop songs of the year.
Wow.
That being said, in terms of the K-pop sphere, everyone's like, yo, that's a good song. But just no one ever talked about it again, right?
Yeah.
CIX, they had that dark concept back in the day. They did this more upbeat song. It was a little it was not really a CIX song. I think this one was an amazing song. If you have not listened to CIX's Cinema, you'll be like, why am I sleeping on CIX?
So
That's
catchy.
why I'm giving it this year. One of the most catchy choruses of the year. Cinema, cinema, cinema.
Yeah.
Right? That part?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just peak beautiful K-pop. Boom.
Nice. My sleeper song of the year, I'm giving it to Lucy's Irrelevant Answer. So this song actually came out in August. And if you don't know Lucy, they're a band. They do like a pop band, instrumental rock type of combination. It's really, really nice. And we actually covered one of their songs in one of the more recent episodes. And this kind of spiraled into the discovery of Lucy in the past year. And this song is really, really nice. The anime opening vibes are very strong in this one, as always.
Babes.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like it. I feel like I've really been going through their discography recently. I also want to shout out another song that they had from last year called Straight Line. I really like that song. So I don't know. Check out Lucy. Check out Irrelevant Answer. Rolling Rolling was the one song that we covered more recently. I think they're doing really well. I hope they get more popular because I think they definitely could use the exposure. But yeah, they're great.
Am I allowed to pick two?
Might as well.
Okay. I was trying to pick one, but between the two, but I couldn't. So I have two songs. One of them is a very obvious one. I've been shouting it out the entire year whenever I can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's X by Chungha. It's one of the pre-release singles out of her Querencia full-length album. It honestly is emotionally incredibly deep and very personal, and as an artist, it felt like a incredible step forward for her. Sound design wise as well, it's incredibly trendy and pop friendly, but it also has a bit of indiness to it as well, which makes sense given the producers behind the track. At the end of the day, you have this nice soft rock, emo rock, pop rock kind of track with a bit of a trap background in the background. I said background twice. That was not intended. Anyways, great track from the good old Chungus. If you're asleep,
Chungus.
wake up. You're asleep.
That's honestly one of your favorite songs of the year. You've been listening it a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
I was picking top 5 songs of the year, and this made it. Open your third eye. This is good. I almost put WeGo on here as well, but hey, instead,
We go from this 9.
It's a pretty big
instead
song,
I chose Beam Beam by Soyeon of G Idol.
Wow, that's an interesting pick.
It's an interesting pick. It is. But I'm choosing it for a very similar reason along with Chungha. Because I feel like Soyeon is onto something. I feel like we're onto something here. Soyeon, I feel like, has a lot of potential that we still haven't gotten to. And Beam Beam feels like a great kind of glimpse into that. And I don't think it was commercially incredibly successful. I think a lot of things played into that. But at the end of the day, you have this song that is nice to listen to as an easy listening piece. It's not incredibly exciting or hype or high energy. There's a bit of energy to it, right? And then if you look at the lyrics, these are one of the songs I encourage you to look at the lyrics because the themes and the motifs that she covers is something that is very relevant to her, very relevant to us, very relevant to most of the audience in K-pop in their teens, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s kind of deal. She approaches a lot of those things, a lot of the troubles that we face, in a very approachable and friendly manner. And this isn't the only track that she does that in. The entire EP, it does a great job of that. And Beam Beam shines from his competition because of that. Because it doesn't come off as a simple sugary pop track. There's a lot of layers to it that you can kind of peel open like a fried onion, you know? Like
Fried onion.
yeah,
Blooming onion, right?
blooming onion. That's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
You got the idea. Yeah,
From Outback Steakhouse. Shout out to Outback Steakhouse.
with the
All
spicy
right.
barbecue sauce.
So the underrated sleeper songs of the year, right? CIX Cinema, Irrelevant Answer from Lucy, X from Chungha, and Beam Beam from Soyeon. You all get some soju this year.
Yay.
Congratulations.
All right, Boy Group Excellency. So this is awarded to the 3 groups that we feel had the best 2021, and these winners will be candidates for the group/artist of the year Daesangs. All right.
Real quick, I'm looking at the script and I'm realizing we have the same people exactly, all 3 of us for 3 people. Can you discuss one group at a time?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Let's do
The
that.
first one we all wrote is BTS, right? Butter, Permission to Dance, My Universe. Clearly, targeting the Western market this year. The global market is
Quite
the better way
strong,
to put it.
yeah.
If anything, I felt like they had a strong grip on the Western market last year, and this year felt like they were like expanding upon that. Like there's no tomorrow.
This year
right?
feels like the mainstream year. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like now the popularity's here. We're just gonna release everything. We're gonna do BTS meal at McDonald's, right? We're gonna sit on top of the Billboard 100 chart like 10 times between multiple songs, right? Like kind of crazy on an international scale. I have seen the argument that people are like, well, they didn't release anything fully in Korean this year, right? They did these 2 songs and then they did My Universe, right? I have seen that argument. That being said, I still consider it K-pop on a personal level.
I feel like the way they promote and the stuff they put out follows a K-pop pattern where like sure the lyrics aren't in English aren't in Korean, but like I would be willing to let this pass as like they're still the roots are still K-pop idol music. This is who they are, and they're doing a damn good job too.
Yep. Anyone else have anything to say about BTS?
Oh, that North American concerts. I saw clips.
Oh.
Wild boys.
Wow.
The concert's wild. The SoFi Stadium, not very good though, with the way that was going down, right? Like the crowd management was messy.
You know, it's okay.
Hopefully it gets better though.
Yeah. All right. Second artist that we all decided were Boy Group Excellency award winners was TXT. 01 Love Song, Magic, Loser, Lover were the 3 songs that they released.
Good old Tomorrow Bite Together.
Yeah.
They released good music this year.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of sales, they are on this list because of how good the music was, right?
I just really... Oh, go ahead, Juan.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I'm looking at the titles and I'm looking at the sound that they went with these songs. And I'm just like, wow, they're doing something very differently than a lot of the boy groups. And I don't know, I feel like it could be trendsetting. It could just be like, we're just trying something different. And they make it work. I feel like Love Song and Loser Lover definitely had that vibe where like, wow, I haven't heard this from a boy group, particularly from Korea. So I feel like it's very interesting, their interpretation of that sound, the more emo, emotional pop rock sound. I don't know. I think they definitely can do it really well. I don't know where they're going to go with next. I don't think they're going to stick with it.
You keep saying I don't know in here. You know already. We all know they're gonna have a great year next year right now.
I think so, yeah.
The whole emo thing that they're playing off of right now, like you mentioned, I feel like the trend was there. There were definitely a huge number of artists that were going after that trend, and they provided a K-pop answer, a K-pop kind of response to that whole trend. And the way I see it, I think they're gonna continue to expand upon it.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and predict that a lot of boy groups are going to kind of follow suit next year, if not girl groups too. And because we have both, I liked Love Song over Loser Lover, but both of them were very different in the aspect of the vibes it has and like what kind of mood it has, where I feel like we have enough to play with to create a trend, to create a kind of a series of sounds that other groups can kind of go after as well. In that aspect, creating a trend, setting kind of like
standard, yeah.
Right. That's not easy to do. That's being a game changer is.
They took a lot of risks, honestly, with this sound. They really strayed away from the older like whimsical stuff that we were expecting. It honestly worked out for them though. So well.
Good stuff. Yeah, great stuff.
All right, third group that we all decided to give Boy Group Excellency to was NCT. It's hard, just based on the amount of content that NCT releases, right? Here are the Korean releases. So I didn't include the wavy songs because they're typically in Mandarin. But Universe, Let's Play Ball, Sticker, Favorite, Vampire, Hot Sauce, and Hello Future. There are some songs I don't like on this list. Some songs that I think were like Song of the Year candidates on this list, right?
Yeah.
Overall, though, it's hard to argue for any other group, especially if I'm considering it like a third slot here. Anyone else, just the amount of songs that they've released, right? It's
a lot
just
of content, yeah.
Right. I feel like a lot of people might consider it cheating a little bit because NCT has like a lot of like NCT U, NCT Dream, NCT 127. But I think the way SM is managing NCT with having these yearly huge collaborations where we had NCT 2021 at the end of the year, it makes sense to kind of look at the entire thing as a single package. And there's a lot of like sound motifs, I guess, that kind of flow through all of these tracks. They all kind of sound like they're coming from a single source. And that's, that's hard to do with a single artist, let alone like a combination of a couple of subunits too. And these were, for the most part, very high quality as well. And I say most part because there's one in here that everyone seems to poo all over, understandably so. But
there's kind of two: Sticker and Hot Sauce. People you either love those songs or you really dislike those ones.
I feel like Hot Sauce was like.
I feel like Hot Sauce has grown.
People.
Hot Sauce has grown.
Same.
I really don't like Hot Sauce.
But then you have Sticker, which I feel like has become like
a meme.
A meme, yeah.
I like Sticker though.
Well, you're a meme. Anita.
That being said, Hello Future is a top 3 song of the year. Honestly,
nice song.
And Universe Let's Play Ball was a real like pure NCT song.
I really like that song.
I think the group that was closest for me to putting in this top 3 was 17.
Same.
I think that Rock With You was a really excellent song. That being said, Ready to Love was just a good song. And that's why I didn't put it on this list.
I guess if you want to debut a boy group, you have to have a couple T's in your name.
Yeah, three characters. Yeah. 3 characters, right? All right, so the winners of Boy Group Excellency are BTS, TXT, and NCT. Boom. Ooh. All right. Girl Group Excellency awarded to the 3 girl groups that had the best 2021 in our opinion. All right, we pretty much all have the same lists again, other than there's one variation.
From Warren, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the ones that the 3 of us, I'm pretty sure we'll have overlap on. aespa, right?
aespa.
Next Level and Savage.
Well, they also had the remake track at the beginning of the year too.
We don't talk about that one. We don't talk about that.
You guys like
out of those 2 songs, Next Level was probably their biggest song, I would say.
Breakout song, yeah.
The breakout, this thing, everyone, even on Korean Variety, even like Ajishis are still doing it.
The next level.
They have hit the mainstream. They have hit general population popularity in Korea. They've started to hit international popularity. I know that the Macy Thanksgiving Day performance was a bit of an oof, but they were there. They didn't invite other people.
They did it.
Yeah. They went. They did it. It was called out. It is what it is.
And here's what's wild about aespa and the way they've grown, right? I remember a year ago, they were a meme. Everyone was like,
Kwangya! It was concerned. Yeah.
Right. And we still make fun of Kwangya and the whole SMCU thing.
They make fun of it. They don't like it, clearly.
Right. Everyone makes fun of it now. But what I'm gonna say is even despite all of that, the whole lore thing, the whole metaverse thing and all that, they've convinced that it can work, that it can still be successful despite all these memes floating around. That, I think, is kind of wild. And the way SM is kind of like committing to these weird things is, you got to applaud that a little bit. A little bit, really.
They committed, yeah.
Yeah. aespa, I think, had just a huge breakout.
They had a monster
one of the biggest breakouts in a long time.
Yeah. Absolutely epic year for them, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, the next one that we all agree on is Twice, Alcohol-Free Scientist, The Feels. I think there's a clear order to how much I like those songs. Right?
Was it in that order?
It's in that order. Alcohol-Free Scientist and The Feels. That's the order of how much I like those songs, starting with the one I like the least.
So you like The Feels the most?
Yes. Okay. I think it's clearly their best song out of those 3. I would say this was a very solid year for Twice. I don't think it was a crazy year for them, but I think it was a very good high level year for them.
Okay.
I also
go ahead.
I think, let me see. What did they release in 2020? What were the songs there? I want to compare it to that because I believe it was a bit of a dip.
Me.
More and more.
Can't Stop Me.
And then the English track.
Cry for Me.
Yeah.
Cry for Me. Yeah. Okay.
Does that count?
Does it? Okay. I think this was an up year for them. I think that was 2019. Was that when they did the fancy? Yeah. Okay. So we had the extreme high, right?
Yes.
And then I think we dipped a bit in 2020, and I think 2021 we're heading back in the upward direction hard.
We're stabilizing. Yes.
Yeah.
We're going back up.
Would we all agree with that?
I agree. Oh, you disagree?
No, I feel like this year was like a transition year for them. And I agree this was a solid high year, right? I didn't like All Coal Free, but it was wildly successful, right? Scientist was the safest out of the year. It was not very successful, but I still think it was a good song and a great album. The Feels was proof that they can be successful in the West, in the global market. And here we are twice, 6 years into the game, right? Next year is their 7th. They're slowly making a transition away from them being popular in the general public in Korea into the Western market. That's how I kind of identify their 2021. And in that aspect, they've been doing really, really well. Because for what it had, The Feels wasn't much of a flop. It was a great start to what feels like entering a new market.
I would argue against that.
Really?
It got only 83rd on Billboard.
It got on the Billboard.
Okay.
So it feels like a solid start, right? 2022 is a very crucial and a dangerous and a risky year for them. Because now they're in a situation where they have to go to the Western market and the general public, their connection with the general public feels kind of weak. But still, 2021 is a pretty solid year for them.
I feel a little conflicted about the whole USDB for them.
Okay.
I feel like they sacrificed some of the Korean market to do it.
Right.
Because exactly scientists only hit 32, right?
Right.
In Korea.
The thing is, at this point, where they've been relevant with the general public since their debut, they kind of have to.
I could see you.
Right. They kind of have to. Because from the general public's perspective, they're not fresh. They're like the veterans in the game, you know?
At this point, yeah.
I still am, like, I think that, breaking on Billboard's cool, right? I think it's a great achievement. I just feel like they have a much more difficult road than, say, a Blackpink on this, because the appeal of Blackpink is that those are the badass cool girls, you know? Anyone in America who doesn't know K-pop can still recognize, man, those girls are hot. That is a cool look. I like what they're doing. It's badass, right? That's a really easy pill to swallow, right? I think Twice is a lot more difficult because when people who don't really know K-pop on a Western perspective look at Twice, they say, oh, they're like a Japanese thing, you know? Like, that's the type of vibes that they're hitting. Like, kind of cutesy, you know, there's a lot of them, that type of vibe.
Well, you just told me the niche market is there. They're going to go after those people.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
Oh.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, I thought you just said they have like a cutesy concept.
No, I'm saying that's to their detriment, potentially.
Oh, here's the thing. I think there's a whole market out there that is willing to have the demand for that kind of concept.
So you're thinking that there are non-K-pop fans in the West that are willing to accept that market?
Possibly.
Okay.
The K-pop market in the West is continuing to grow, you know? How fast? I don't know, but it's growing. I'll give you that. So I'm willing to bet they're gonna continue expanding next year. How fast and how well that I'm not sure. You know.
Okay.
Then that's where that conversation comes down to. Yeah, we'll see.
Anita, you got comments?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, we're discussing like their future endeavors, and I very much agree with that. This year, though, like if I'm looking in retrospect, what they did, I feel like it didn't feel like a high year, right? Like we talk about 2019 and their releases that year. 2020, I guess it was the bigger one was Can't Stop Me, right?
Yeah.
And then in this year, I feel like I also feel like it didn't have like a huge impact as like a title track, these songs, but I feel like it felt very stable to me. Like it felt like we can release tracks, we can go to the Western market, and it's still a viable option. Like it's not gonna be detrimental in a sense. I don't know. I feel like Twice is very, very interesting because I feel like they're still super popular. And I feel like they have the fan base for it, but it doesn't feel like it's as high as it used to be. And maybe that's why it feels like, oh, is this a down year? Are we going down? I don't know. I feel like the popularity's still there for them, and I think they're gonna keep going past their 7 years.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe this is the shift of a sound, trying to shift the concept for the group. But I don't know. It feels like it's still very much what I associate with Twice. Like it doesn't feel that different yet. So I don't know where it's going, but so far this year, I think they held their own. I don't think they lost by any means. Like, I don't think they went down, but I don't know if they are going up.
Here's the thing. One more positive thing about Twice that I think was noticeable about 2021 is that it felt like they are in it for the long game. They have a strategy, right? They know where they want to go.
There's vision.
Right. There's vision. Wanda doesn't have vision, but I'm sorry, nobody's gonna get that joke. Here's the thing: for a group 6 years in to have that is rare, right? SNSD didn't have that. SDS didn't have that.
Do you predict multiple US side releases or Western releases in 2022 for them?
I'm gonna predict like 2 at the least. 2.
Do you think they'll almost primarily focus on West?
I think they'll at least have 1 song in Korea, 1 song in Japan, and then 2 songs in North America.
Oh, I'd be
That's what I
excited for
think.
that. Yeah, I'm
the market,
more,
yeah.
like at this point, like I think we were talking about this earlier. I'm more interested in the Western releases, just because I want to see what happens. You know,
What are they gonna do?
there's because like at least with the Korea side, there's a sense of like how much more can they do? You know,
Right.
But on the West, it's like the great unknown, especially with this kind of concept. I think
It's the Wild West.
It's exciting to see. Oh, for sure.
Show gold.
All right, last girl group that we all unanimously agreed upon is Stacy. Stacy girls, it is going down.
Going down.
It went down in 2021 for Stacy. Let me tell you. ASAP, Stereotype. Stereotype, clearly the less popular of the 2 songs, right? I'm not gonna say which one's a better song, but ASAP was one of those K-pop songs that for some reason breached mainstream Korean like general population
The dance
popularity.
move. Yes.
Right? For it did. Like there are like old dudes on shows who know ASAP and know who Stacy are for some reason, right?
Yay.
What a massive year for them. Like I know that like I was expecting them to be like the sleeper favorite for like at least a couple years before they blew up.
yeah.
No, the blow up happened this year for sure.
Great. Stacy girls. I also feel like it helped a lot the progression of their songs, because I feel like their debut was solid. I think like it wasn't like super amazing, and I feel like it's
super
probably
amazing, Anita. What are you talking about?
Was it?
It
I guess
was.
for me,
It was
I feel
amazing, Anita.
Like, okay.
Get out of here.
So
All right.
bad was so good.
I like the B-side for that because I feel like it was a very retro sound. But I guess for me, the debut was like, okay, this is solid. They know what they're doing with them. I feel like production-wise, they have a plan. Like there is a concept here. Like we're just not randomly going through a song or just choosing the song for this debut. It was like there's a progression here. And I definitely saw it when we went into ASAP and then Stereotype, because I feel like by the time we reached Stereotype, it felt like super, super polished production, really, really nice. Like the way that they were accommodating to the members, I felt like really, really nice. The way that they were distinguishing the members.
They do that
within
better
the
than
song.
anyone else right now, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
They know who they have and how to promote them very, very well.
Yep.
So I don't know, I'm really excited for Stacy. I feel like I'm kind of like waiting, like when are they gonna release another song? I kind of want to get more content from them.
Oh yeah.
So
They
Stacey.
are like, I think they're the group that in 2022 I'm looking most forward to their releases.
Yeah.
Just because
Same.
I want to see the hype train and if it can keep like rocketing them to the moon, because they're like, I know that they like their backing is pretty good, right? Black Eyed Peas are clearly a big name in the game. But like there's a sense of an underdog thing going on too, even though they're technically not, you know? Like I just want to root
Yeah.
for them, right? Against the big four massive companies.
Yeah, High Up Entertainment, is it?
Yeah.
Black Eyed Pilsen's company. It's and look. Shout outs to me last year, who I was the only one that voted for them in Rookie of the Year. Y'all both were like Weekly, and I was like, Weekly's good too, but
Hey, Weekly had a good year. Weekly had a good year.
Year.
Just not as good as Stacey did.
But I was looking into the future. I was doing my Doctor Strange moves, spinning my time stone around, and I saw, ooh, Stacey, they gonna do good, and they are doing great.
So, reference, right? Single album, Star to a Young Culture, the debut one, 48,000. Statum, right? 90,000, which had ASAP on it. Wow. Stereotype, 160,000.
We got to 6 digits.
Yes.
That's what we need.
That means their next album should probably have somewhere like 250 next one, potentially.
Probably, yeah, at this rate.
And what's really noticeable about the way Stacey is promoting is they're actively using the fact that music market's been kind of democratized, right? They were the ones who blew up on TikTok and took advantage of that the most this year, right? And that's honestly kind of a huge deal right now, because TV shows, the Gen Z teens, people don't watch TV anymore. That's not a thing. The internet is where we pick out good songs and what we like. And Stacey, I think, did the best job of using that to their advantage, which I think has clearly paid out. They are easily one of the most popular groups at the moment, with the younger folks. It's a traditional rookie girl group story that's doing really, really well, but with a fresh 2021 twist.
Yes.
Their production team is so good. Black Eyed Pilsen is operating at peak levels right now too.
He sees everything.
He knows what's going on. He's so on top of it. It's insane. I like Warren's honorable mention here. I think we do have to mention it. So go.
Yes.
The honorable mention that I had, and I was picking between these four, was Brave Girls.
I agree.
Brave Girls.
Right. They had a crazy year at the beginning. They went
comeback story. Yes.
Right. Biggest comeback story in the industry, in the history of K-pop, where they just rose out of nowhere from being a nugo into a top tier girl group, pretty much over a span of a week.
Based on a YouTube edit video. So if you're a small YouTube editor, your video might be the thing that is the impetus for the next Brave Girls.
Yeah.
Right. The stuff leading after that wasn't as successful or popular, but I think we can safely say they're at least in the mid tier now. It was a huge jump up from what they were before.
I agree. I couldn't put them in this with good conscience because I felt like I was voting for Rolling more than I was voting for Chima Bottom. You know what I mean? That was my only qualm with putting them in.
The only reason I put them there was because of their comeback story being so, I don't want to say influential, but
it's the big story, one of the biggest storylines of 2021 for sure.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I'm excited to see what happens because, Korea has the attention span of a toddler sometimes. If you're popular, you better make the money now.
For trends.
That's just how it is there. So we'll have to see what happens with Brave Girls going forward.
I'm surprised Anita didn't put Brave Girls, given her love with a specific.
Anita loves Chima Bottom. That is her song.
I like Chima Bottom. I definitely agree. Brave Girls had a really great year. I don't know if it held for the whole year, to be honest. I feel like it was a very concentrated period of time where Roland was everywhere, and they suddenly were winning music shows overnight with their song. I don't know. I feel like it was a really, really nice storyline for them. I hope that it can. If it doesn't get to that level, I feel like that's understandable. But moving forward, their talent.
I hope they could be mid-tier. At least for another 3-4 years. That's my goal.
Yeah.
All right. So the girl group excellency Soju is going to aespa, Twice, and Stacey.
Yay!
Congrats.
All right. We're at our Daesangs or big awards boy group of the year, right? So the 3 candidates are BTS, TXT, NCT, We normally used to have like a puzzle format where you could only win one Daesang. We threw that out this year. Boy group of the year, you gotta give it to BTS in my opinion. You know,
they did a lot.
If we talk about magnitude, whether you like the songs or not, most bang this year is still BTS for sure, right? I think musically, there's a strong argument for TXT in particular, but on a impact scale and the accomplishments of 2021, I think you still have to give it to BTS.
Yeah, how could you argue against this? They had a McDonald's collab, guys.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Like, sure, they did less than they normally do, right? 2019, they had a full-length album, like Dynamite, all that, B. And this does feel, track listing-wise, considerably less. But what is crazy about this is that they have considerably less releases, and yet they are able to not only maintain but expand their like status in the North American market so much, and still in the global and in the Korean market too. In that aspect, like you just gotta like, there's no arguing against this. I don't know, like TXT was great too, NCT was great too, 17 was great too. They had a lot of sales, you know, lots of great releases, but the Butter Boys, you know, they you know, good. They did good with the butter.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely crazy to think that this past year was considered like not as much, but it's still a lot. Like when you count the number of collaborations they did, the number of releases they had, the stuff that they did in just mainstream media, like I think it's still a lot for any artist. And I feel like for BTS being promoted and successfully being promoted in the West, it's really, really commendable. Like I feel like they're always breaking records. Like when we talk about the number of weeks they were on the Billboard charts, like that's just crazy. Like it feels like even on a slower year, they're at this level.
And I understand, like a lot of people are like, oh, like they're always breaking records. I get it, you know, we start taking it for granted a little bit,
right?
And I get that because to a degree, I'm sometimes like that too. But then when you go back and look at the impact and the size of the meteor crater that is on the side of the moon right now,
it's huge.
It's a big boy.
Sorry, I left for a brief period of time. I did not want to give myself the golden soju everywhere, so I went to the restroom real quick before I peed myself. I am back. I am back now. I agree. BTS Boy Group of the Year for sure. Got to give it to them. The Boy Group of the Year Daesang is going to the Shield Bros BTS. Shout out to BTS.
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right, Girl Group of the Year. So the candidates are from the Excellency Awards. So they are aespa, Twice, and Stacy. I love my Stacy girls. They are going down, but they are not. They should not get this award relative to the other two. Honestly,
okay.
I think there is a tiny bit of a fringe argument, but I just can't.
It still feels like they're building up. They're on the way up.
Right.
Maybe next year. Yeah. The two big hitters, aespa and Twice. I know that I argued against Twice's English campaign a bit.
Oh my God.
That being said, I think I would give them Girl Group of the Year over aespa.
Wow.
I have my reasoning as well. I don't
have good reasoning, really. I just feel that way. Anita, you give me the reasoning though, and maybe I'll see if that's why I think it.
Yeah, no, I feel like for me, this year in particular was just the type of year where Twice was kind of demonstrating their stuff. You know, like this is who they are, this is what they're doing, and this is what we can still do. So I feel like they definitely pulled it off with their releases. I feel like venturing out into the Western market, I feel like was something that I feel like was something you could be nervous about, but it went well. I feel like the expectations, for me at least, were a little low in that regard, but it went well. And I think they still have the star power for it. I think Twice is still going, like we mentioned already. Like it's hard to compare them to themselves, right? And their previous years and what they've done in the past. But I feel like it still holds up, and I think that's that's what makes the difference. That they're the veterans in this category, and they're still doing really well.
And that's what we should be focusing on, because like I mentioned earlier, think of a girl group that's been around this long, that's able to stay this relevant in this tempo. Who else comes to mind? Maybe SNSD. That's about it. With that in mind, it's kind of undeniable, like the kind of big footprint they're leaving behind in K-pop right now. This felt like proof that they are in it for the long game, like I mentioned earlier. This year, the set of releases felt like Twice is they're showing us that, you know, they can flop a little bit. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You know, that's a very difficult thing to prove. That's a very difficult thing to argue for. And you know, gotta shout out where respects are due. So Twice, girl group of the year as well for me.
Yeah, it's just like, it feels right to give them it, in my opinion. You know, it just feels like the
Just feels right. You got the feels. That's what you got.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm alcohol free. I guess I'm not a scientist, but you know, I got the feels that they should win the award. So Twice is getting Girl Group of the Year Daesangs. Shout out to Twice.
Congratulations.
Okay, so Song of the Year. We used to actually do a big polling or whatever, but this year we supplemented it with the Winter Wonder World Cup that Warren created.
yes.
What happened here? All right, Warren, talk about the final four, right? The final four songs.
Quick rundown on what this is, right? Because people might not be familiar with it. Essentially, we started off with a huge list of songs, and we put them down into 16 songs, and we put them into like a knockout series of tournaments, right?
We didn't. Our Discord, our community picked these songs, the 16 finalists, and then they did like a March Madness tournament style single elimination matchups down. We had a bracket going on,
right?
Like any sport playoff thing.
Every day in the month of December.
What were the final four songs, Warren?
The final four songs. Well, we'll talk about the two songs in the run-up game first, which was ASAP by Stacey versus After School by Weekly.
ASAP lost to Twice's The Feels.
Right.
And Weekly's After School lost to TXT's Love Song.
Right.
Correct.
Which means the final round was, like you mentioned, The Feels by Twice and 01 Love Song featuring Sori, I Know I Love You by Tomorrow by Together or TXT. Very long title. The results. We'll start with the runner-up results.
Runner-up results. So
the third
Weekly's
place.
After School versus Stacey's ASAP for third place.
Right. The third place in the Winter Wonder World Cup was ASAP by Stacey.
I agree for that matchup. I agree with that result.
This was like the biggest debate of the year in the server, right?
I thought this would have been the finals potentially.
I thought so too.
Well, you know, that's how polling and democracy works, you know. But the final round, like you mentioned, was The Feels versus 01 Love Song, I Know I Love You, featuring Sori by TXT or Tomorrow by Together. And the winner there, and the winner of Song of the Year in SojuTalk Awards 2021, the person who takes home the golden soju bottle, mentally, not really, is The Feels by Twice.
Wow. I didn't see this coming.
This is ridiculous.
Wild. You know what was crazy about it? The Feels won in a difference of one vote. One vote. That was the difference. One vote. Every vote mattered, guys.
Wait, did I vote for the finals? I think there was one round.
You didn't. You're the reason. The Feels won and TXT lost.
So basically, our community thinks that the top four songs in this order, right? They think the best song of the year is The Feels by Twice. They think the second best song of the year is 01 Love Song by TXT. The third best song is ASAP from Stacey. And the fourth best song is After School from Weekly.
I mean,
I don't agree with this.
Those songs are great. Those four songs are great.
I think they're good songs, but I wouldn't have put The Feels in my top 5.
Same. I wouldn't.
Same, but I wouldn't do that with After School either.
I agree with that.
I would.
Well,
I think that's fringe top 5 for me. I think a song that didn't even make it out of the first round was NCT Dream's Hello Future. That got clobbered by 01 Love Song.
Yeah.
God, that song got destroyed there.
Well, a lot of songs lost really early on, right? That was really good. Like
the
We Go
matchup.
lost in the quarterfinals.
Butter
Lilac
lost in the first round
to
to Next Level.
Right. Savage lost to the Feels in the quarterfinals.
I just like if I think about, even though I think K-pop in 2020 might have had a bit of a down year, right? Which is just my opinion on it. You might think it's a fantastic year if you like the songs. I just find it difficult to palate that we put the Feels at number 1. Am I crazy?
Well, you know what? Maybe this supports the argument that Twice still got it. You know?
Yeah, no, honestly.
They got it. You got it. You got it.
Get with the times, dog.
I might be undervaluing it.
At the end of the day, like thinking about the entirety of all 16 songs, right? The Feels is I still feel like is one of the songs that makes sense to be first place.
Sure.
Given the song, the quality of the song was also very solid. It's just great.
Yeah.
And then you have the impact of the song being the first Western release it is, and according to Doug, the mild success it had. Given all of that, like I'm kind of comfortable giving the song of the year to them, and I'm kind of happy for Twice in that aspect. Not that Twice is gonna look us up and like.
What would you have put between the top 4 if it's not the Feels?
Between the top 4.
Yeah.
ASAP. For me. ASAP for me.
I would have put either Love Song or ASAP.
I think I don't know. I'm thinking between those 3, the Feels, Love Song, and ASAP.
Oh,
Now, if we're talking about all 16 songs that we began with in the World Cup, then that's a little different. Because I would have chosen Lilac, Savage,
I would
We
have
Go.
put Hello Future as number 1.
Oh, Savage.
I think that's song of the year. Our community is super divisive on Espo, which I think is a representative of a lot of K-pop fans.
Oh yeah.
Where people either think it's like this is song of the year material, or people are like this trash can material, right? And I think that really is shown in the way the voting turned out, for sure.
Well, shout outs to Twice. Shout outs to the Feels.
Honestly, yo, double Daesangs, potentially 3 with the next one, but yo, song of the year, Twice is the Feels. Shout out to Twice.
Congrats. One more thing before we move on. We also had a prediction game.
Oh,
we did. Who won?
Game. Well, I'm happy to announce that in the Discord server, Not Therese has won with the best prediction.
Yay!
Therese, TikTok lady.
I forgot her prediction at the moment. But she I think she got like most of it correct. I think the order was wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah, she got the top 3 correct, but the order was off.
Right. I think she did Love Song, The Feels, and ASAP.
What does Therese win?
Therese wins a month of Discord Nitro as well as a special role called Big Brain. It's pink.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. So if you're on the Discord, always tag Therese as Big Brain and not Therese now. Yes. All right. Finally, let's move on to Artist of the Year. So the candidates are any of the people who won Excellency or the Soloist Awards. So your candidates for Artist of the Year are Key, IU. We could also give it to BTS, TXT, NCT, aespa, Twice, or Stacey. So those are the candidates for Artist of the Year.
We were actually divided a little bit here.
This is probably going to be really interesting for all of you at home. I want to give Artist of the Year to IU. I
understand the argument there, yeah.
I think that the argument for IU is, yes, she had a really big year, right? But she also had a very big year that was in Korea for K-pop specifically. So I think that defeats the argument that some of the other artists have where their biggest songs were out, not purely Korean releases, right? IU had Celebrity, Lilac, Coin, Strawberry Moon, also featured on the Akmu track, Naka. That was pretty big. Her whole entire Pieces EP was pretty massive. I think no one has done more within the K-pop sphere, K-pop proper, right, than IU this year. So that's why I want to give it to IU.
I do feel like the impact she's leaving on the Korean music industry as a whole it's unignorable.
Is she the GOAT yet? Greatest of all time K-pop act?
Soloist for sure, I think.
Yeah.
She's if she's not, she's super close, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
household
she be?
name?
Yeah, she might be the GOAT already, to be honest.
but Anita and I agreed with a different artist of the year. I will admit IU was a close second. She was.
Yeah, no, I feel like you could make, I see the argument very, very strongly for IU, but I guess I was judging this category in a different way, which is why I chose aespa for Artist of the Year. And
What? What?
Same.
Let me explain.
What a next level take.
Haha, right. Well, for me, I was judging this category in the sense of impact in all aspects, right? So as music, as a performing act, and as what is the general public talking about this particular artist? Like, are they someone that they can recognize, something like that? And for me, I feel like aespa for sure left a mark in that way, where like this year in particular, I just remember them being everywhere, their dance moves, their songs, them as people. I feel like they were also very out there. Like, I feel like the branding of the group really, really stood out this year. And yes, I feel like the whole SMCU universe thing, the whole concept that they got going on is very interesting. But I think it just adds to that idea of like, this group is just like so interesting, and people were definitely looking at them this year. So I feel like that's where the argument comes from, where aespa definitely was one of the more memorable acts in general. Like, I feel like music, concept,
bugging.
Everything. What?
I think, Doug, you're poo-pooing. I think, Anita, you've summed it up really well. And one thing I think, if I can add on to that just a little bit, is they're doing a lot of things that are new. They're just, concepting is new, sound is new, the whole tech side of things is new.
Right,
they're an 8-person girl group, but really 4 people and 8 not real people kind of group. That's also new. The fact that they were able to convince us this much, given all of those new things, is not something people can do easily. It's incredibly a huge challenge, and somehow it's convinced a whole chunk of K-pop fans. It's convinced niche audiences in Korea, as well as general public in Korea. Somehow you end up with a situation where you're able to please so many different markets, not everybody, but still a lot of markets, while doing everything that's so new. That's like that. You know what? That is wild. And it's absolutely mind blowing. And sure, yes, I wasn't a fan of most of their releases. I didn't like Next Level. I didn't like that remake track at the beginning of the year. I poo-pooed all over it. Remember, like at the by the end of February, I remember like talking about aespa back then, and I was like, man, they're done. I was like, they're done.
I guess to me, I almost feel like I was so concerned about this. Like, Black Mamba, okay, it was all right. I didn't think it was the debut song that I was hoping for, but it was okay. And then Next Level happened, and I was like, what's going on? I am so confused. I don't know which route they're gonna take. And then the appeal that it had, like after its release, and I don't think it was like instantly. It kind of took a little bit of a while to get there, but once it was like full blown everywhere, I thought like, wow, I did not see this coming at all. No. And I feel like it. I don't know. I guess it makes me just feel very like, wow, I wasn't really thinking big picture, because at the time I was criticizing like, what is the management thinking? Like, where are they going with this? What are they gonna do with this group? But they obviously have an idea, and I wasn't seeing where they were going.
We were proven wrong somewhere. Anita.
Yeah.
You and me, Anita, we were incorrect. We were
I was a critic. Yes.
Yeah.
But now
we were incorrect. And in that aspect, and I'm not gonna say everybody's been convinced because Doug did a whole facepalm montage over there, but. If you think about all the milestones they've achieved so quickly, like even in a traditional sense of like a successful K-pop artist, it still makes sense. It still makes sense. Like gained a lot of traction in the general public size, in the niche market size. SM fans are gathering up behind aespa at the moment because a lot of what SM has been doing for the past 2 decades feels like it's been connected to this almost somehow.
Yeah, you can see some traces of it.
Right. It's a very wildly risky move. And somehow they've been able to pull it off. And somebody out there might argue SM has a lot of money. They're able to make those risks. They're able to take those challenges. But then again, my counter argument there is there are so many different K-pop labels that have so much money and take no risks. I'm not gonna say who. You guys know who I'm talking about. In that aspect, I mean, come on. Come on. This is it. This is Artist of the Year. It took me.
Okay, but I got questions. I got questions. Okay, how do you guys not give them Girl Group of the Year then?
I think I was debating about this. Honestly, I have it blank because I wasn't sure like what would be more appropriate in this case. But it felt to me that aespa's breakout moment this year. Like, do I think it's gonna continue in this level next year? I don't know. I'm honestly still
so
on the fence there.
Your argument was that like, although they're not the best girl group of the year, this was their year. Is that the argument? If I understand correctly?
Yeah, because I feel like their like I said, their breakout moment right now kind of went beyond just being a girl group or a K-pop group. I feel like they extended it to a whole different audience, like the general audience, like the just being like the household name of like the moves, and I don't know. I just feel like their reach went beyond just music and K-pop fans. That I thought like maybe it would be more appropriate as just Artist of the Year, which I feel like has that feeling of being a little bit broader.
I would have put them in 4th. I think for this, I think I'm 4th. I was between BTS, IU, and Twice, I think. Yeah.
I was down to... So I was thinking between BTS, IU, and aespa.
Okay. My arguments against aespa were... I think Twice had a bigger year just in general. I get that aespa popped off, though. I can see that. I can see that matchup.
I don't think that's true at all. I think aespa had a way bigger year than Twice did.
Okay. Then I would have been more happy if you put them Girl Group of the Year. I think that BTS. My argument against them was completely focused on the worldwide stuff, not on the K-pop scene specifically. That's the argument that I see a lot of people making. I kind of feel that. And then my argument, well, I already gave my argument for IU.
The thing with BTS is and I think it might be surprising to a lot of people that BTS didn't make it to anybody's mention here. I don't know. I felt like this year felt like they were building up for next year. I feel that way about HYBE in general at the moment.
Really?
Yeah. I'm still. If anything, I'm more excited about their next year than I was about this year because a lot of things that they did this year felt like they were kind of taking things a little lightly, which makes sense because the last couple of years for them in their career has been a non-stop wild ride. So yeah, in that aspect, you know, don't be sad.
That's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. Both of the Twice stuff sold more than the aespa thing. For me, at least. All right, it is what it is. I guess Artist of the Year Soju is going to aespa. If you disagree with them, please let Warren and Anita know in our comment sections or in the SojuTalk Talk channel. Yes. Hey,
congrats.
Oh boy.
That's all the awards. Let me give a quick summary before we take a break. Before we are doing predictions on top of this, right?
Yes.
So Rookie of the Year Male went to Exin the Air Heroes. Rookie of the Year Female went to IVE. Best Solo Artist Male went to Key. Best Solo Artist Female went to IU. Underrated Sleeper Songs of the Year are CIX's Cinema, Irrelevant Answer from Lucy, Chungha's X, and Soyeon's Beam Beam. Boy Group Excellency went to BTS, TXT, NCT. Girl Group Excellency went to aespa, Twice, and Stacy. In terms of Daesang, Boy Group of the Year, BTS. Girl Group of the Year, Twice. Song of the Year is Twice's The Feels. And Artist of the Year is aespa. Let it be written. Boom.
Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
We are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 170, where we are going to review our predictions from last year and make new ones for the upcoming year of 2022. All right, last year predictions for 2021. We each made 5 of them. We're just going to go through and we're going to react. My first one was in-person concerts in the fall. Yikes! If you're not BTS, that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of delayed, so we're going to get a lot in the spring, but with the COVID situation, who knows how many of them will actually happen?
It's still up in the air.
Completely up in the air.
I intentionally didn't make any COVID-related predictions this year because I can't tell anything.
You're right.
This Omicron spike is just a big boy.
Yeah. My number 2 prediction was Blackpink solos will finally happen. Honestly, they did. We had the Rosé one in the beginning half of the year, and we had the Lisa one in the second half of the year. We're still waiting.
Jisoo?
We're still missing on her.
I didn't write this in my predictions. I think we'll get a full Blackpink comeback before we get a Jisoo solo.
Aw, man.
Right.
My third one, the biggest oof out of my predictions, ITZY will be girl group of the year.
Well,
What a big oof. It's kind of surprising. If you had told me last year that we wouldn't have mentioned ITZY anywhere in our discussion for awards, I would have think that you're crazy. But
I still think even though their songs are kind of divisive, they had a still decent year. Mafia, sure, I pooped all over it, but it was still really successful, right?
It was something, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was very successful in terms of charting.
Oh, yeah.
Loco, when they did Loco, it felt like they were going back to their debut roots a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, maybe this year was a bit of a slow year for them, but I'm still excited for the next year.
Yeah, I still think there's a lot of hope there. I think there's now added pressure though because of the new group coming for sure.
Ooh, yeah, that's it.
Number 4, Stray Kids will win Kingdom. That was a bit of a weak take and it happened. So that's a good one. Finally, IZ*ONE residual groups by the end of the year. We didn't get IZ*ONE Light. We still don't have the Hybe group or the source group, whatever you're calling it, the one that might eventually happen. Yeah. But we did get IVE. So that kind of counts here, right? That's an IZ*ONE residual group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We also got the Joyuri and Eunbi solos that happened.
True.
That's kind of cool. So I think I pretty much got that one, I would say. So my prediction's not too terrible, honestly, other than the ITZY Girl Group of the Year one. All right, what about you, Anita?
My first prediction for this past year was more English songs will be released, title tracks.
For sure that happened.
Yeah, I think the big players, definitely BTS, Twice, went that route. And even more so, just promoting, full on promoting in the West, particularly in the US. So yeah, I definitely see that did come about. Second prediction was hyperpop in the limelight, but not 100%. So I was referring to this genre of music that kind of has a lot of, maximalism type to it, in the beats and the distortion, to the max, pop vibes to the max. And I feel like we kind of got a little bit with
I think this is spot on, honestly,
really?
Anita. Yes.
Okay. I feel like I was kind of listening to it a little bit with some B-sides that came about. I think 17 had one, Game Boy, that was along those lines. And then aespa with Savage definitely leaned in a little bit heavier there. I feel like, yes, I don't want to say that I 100% got it, but I see it. I see how I kind of got it a little bit. Third prediction was very off. NCT Japan would happen in the second half of 2021. Didn't happen at all. Yeah,
they promised us like NCT Africa at some point, right? Like straight up.
I think this prediction came about during the time where SM had some sort of meeting conference where they were kind of planning out the future of NCT units and promotions. And I thought NCT Japan would be the most feasible market, like the most feasible unit in the near future, because it's not. I feel like they already do promotions in Japan with NCT 127, so it wouldn't be that difficult to just have a unit for that region. But I guess not. And even now, like they had news about NCT Hollywood. Nothing has come of that. I have no clue if they're still doing that at all. I don't know what's going on with NCT as far as like additional units, additional members. I have no clue. My fourth prediction was SHINee will have a full group comeback and album. That was kind of a weaker prediction because it was kind of a given that they were going to do that once everybody was back from the army. So yeah, that makes sense. I was very, very happy with the full album. A lot of great B-sides on that. Heart Attack, great B-side. And finally, I had a prediction of Weekly and aespa popping off with very different comebacks. It's kind of half true with aespa. Yeah, because I feel like Weekly had a really good start, especially with After School. I think that was really, really strong. And then it kind of died down a little bit with their comebacks. I don't think they completely are like going down, but it's not as high as it was when After School came out. And aespa, of course, I think they had one of the craziest years ever with their promotions, with their songs, with the popularity. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of half true here.
I mean, you said they're going to pop off. You didn't say they're going to maintain the popped off status.
Okay, you know? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, Anita. These are some not spicy,
mild takes.
Mild.
No black pepper, no salt, no garlic predictions here. I mean, I didn't have super spicy takes either. I'll start with the one that's I had a very similar one to your hyperpop one, and it was that it was gonna go mainstream. You know, I was thinking about groups like Signature and then ITZY. I was thinking of a specific producer called Sophie that I was starting to see more and more of in K-pop. Sadly, she passed away earlier in the year. So it didn't really play out the way I thought it would, but you know, we got a little bit of hyperpop from aespa. And I feel like it's gonna continue in that direction a little bit. So I wouldn't say mainstream, but you know, it's been introduced to the mainstream.
It's there,
right. It's there. It's a player now. It's kind of a buzzword a little bit. So I think, you know, maybe we'll see what happens. On the note of genres, I also made a prediction that Neutro is gonna go strong until at least the first half of 2020, which is, you know, stuff like disco, stuff like synthwave. This I'm gonna argue is very spot on.
Yeah.
We got so much disco, so much like different interpretations of synthwave up until like the summer of this year.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. We had Sunmi, we had Rocket Punch, we had like he was a little more into the fall, but we had him, you know, we had who else? I'm forgetting a whole bunch. You know, Lilac is disco, you know. In that aspect, I think Neutral was going great. But I think it's died down a little bit. I think that whole season of genre is coming to a stop. You know, so I think, you know, that one I think I'm gonna argue.
Pretty true though. Yeah,
pretty true. Here's my softest take. Online media gains increased traction as a gate to the Western market. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
Here, I was thinking more about TikTok.
Right. Yeah. Platforms.
And like more platforms. I mean, we got news about more media platforms and like, you know, we got news about, you know, all of these tech adventures that people are taking. It hasn't fully developed yet, I think. So we'll see what happens there. I also said we're going to get a lot of lightweight full-length projects this year. I'm going to argue this is also very spot on. We had like 50 or so full-length albums this year.
Oh, wow.
Big boys.
Really?
and the constant. I'm gonna. You know what? It's maybe not lightweight. You know, like the Twice album was pretty long. There was the NCT album was pretty long.
Yeah.
I think this year we're starting to see a pattern of either releasing very short full-length albums or very long full-length albums. Like the what's the one? Chungha had like a 20-minute album. Then like Somi had like a 7-track album, is it? Like 24 minutes or so. So to a degree I think I was right, but we did get a lot of projects full-length projects this year. That was pretty cool. I also said that we're gonna see some independency people going independent for some major K-pop non-idol artists. This didn't really play out. It just didn't really happen.
You still need a company, it seems.
Yeah. I was like so set on Akmu setting up his own company. Yeah. That didn't happen.
Still surprising that didn't happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, those were the predictions for 2021. Let's make some new predictions for 2022. I really didn't have all that many ones, so I just decided to drop a bunch of hot takes and we'll see what happens. I decided to let the dice roll.
Sticks.
I bet you I will regret half of these by next year. They're not all too ridiculous, but let's see. First one, JYP and the new JYP girl group will have more music show wins than ITZY in 2022.
I see that because I also predict that they're gonna go a little ham here. I feel like that girl group has potential for rookies of the year for sure.
Yeah, so Anita wrote JYPE girl group goes crazy, top rookies of the year. Warren, hit us with one of your predictions.
Well, I did talk about JYP earlier a bit too, and it's that their girl group is a big part of their next year. I feel like next year is very, very important for their company as a whole. All of their active artists. Extraordinary Heroes, this is their second year. They got to continue to prove. ITZY had a bit of a weak year. They got to pop off a little bit, Twice, like you mentioned, like they're expanding into the North American market. That's going to be very difficult. That's going to be a bit of a rocky road. They're going to need a lot of help there. Stray Kids are doing fine. I think they're going to continue to do fine next year. So besides Stray Kids, a lot of the people active in JYP are having a bit of a important year in their entire careers. Lots of big push I'm predicting from JYP, including the new JYP and girl group next year.
All right, here's my next nuclear take. Stacy girl group of the year in 2022, TXT boy group of the year in 2022. I'm shooting my shot on that.
I want that to happen.
I want Stacy to blow up a little bit more.
Stacey, I feel like there's so much potential that's still like remaining. Like Black Guy posting his hard drive full of incomplete projects. I want that, sir. I want to look at it. I
think the combination of the production, the confidence I have in the production team, right? Because the songs have been banger after banger. Plus, even outside of that, they are one of the most strong vocally out of all girl groups right now.
Oh yeah, talent.
Talent, just pure singing talent, right? And they are like, I say like Mamamoo is extremely talented as vocalist, but they're like a fringe K-pop girl group at that. You know what I mean? They've always skirted the line of that, right? Yeah. This is a pure K-pop girl group who does K-pop girl group dances, plus they got the vocals, plus they have the production team. I think the ceiling is non-existent with them. Ooh, we're just gonna have to see where it goes.
Yes.
All right, Anita, hit us with another one.
Yeah, okay, kind of going off of the last half of that, TXT Boy Group of the Year, I have a feeling that HYBE will definitely push TXT next year as well. I don't know in what way. I'm actually thinking like, are they gonna try to go North American market as well? Kind of like how BTS did more promotions, mainstream in English. And I'm wondering if they're gonna do anything as far as broadcasting, because we covered an article where HYBE was having some connections with American media. Like there's some relationships there that have already been established. So I'm wondering if they're going to push for some sort of survival show, because I know they're doing a lot of auditions over there. So I don't know, maybe something related to that from HYBE will come out, and TXT might be involved in some way, or they're going to be like the main artists that are going to be like promoting over there as well.
Lauren, this is your point.
I don't know. I'm trying to pick one from the remaining 4 I have because I don't have anything related to TXT.
Hey, who cares? Just say one.
All right. Target audiences, right? I think traditionally K-pop groups, especially girl groups, usually target the general public. I think that's going to continue to shift. I think groups are going to start targeting niche audience groups, regardless of what gender or what kind of group you are. To a degree, I feel like this is a complete era of the new internet where like your interests are what matters rather than the general interests. And I think that's going to continue to expand, and that's what I was referring to earlier with I think there's a market in the North America for concepts like Twice. Every group is going to try out different concepts. There's not I'm going to see, or I think we're going to start to see less and less of an overarching conceptual trend. And we're going to see different groups going after different sounds. I mean, sure, there will still be trends, but I was thinking they're going to go after smaller niche markets and digging deeper into those smaller niche markets, which makes sense.
Finding their base, yeah.
Right. That would be their base. And that would make sense if you look at this year, like groups like aespa, right? Clearly, we're in a situation where a lot of people don't like what they're doing, but a lot of people do. That's, I feel like, going to be the pattern for a lot of groups going forward. Stuff like Billy, like Ring X Ring. Sure, a lot of us didn't like it. There was also a good chunk of people who were very vocal about how much they liked it, We're going to see more and more and more and more of that, especially because IZ*ONE was proof that you can have a smaller fandom but still be very, very successful.
All right.
Yeah.
My third prediction. At least one surprise disbandment a la G-Friend.
Oh.
It's not just a hot take. I have some basis for this, right?
Yes.
I feel that K-pop is growing to the point where we're at like big business level,
Yeah.
Where I think that when, similar to real business, when the companies were smaller, the game was smaller, the companies felt more of a responsibility to the consumer in being like, we owe the fans, if we're gonna end this, they deserve to get like, further notice. They know what's gonna happen. Here's a goodbye song, right? I think as K-pop grows, these companies are just way more cutthroat, and if they don't see the money line, they're just like, we're done, let's just cut it.
Wow.
Let's just cut it off. We're done, right? I think that G-Friend sent like a shockwave through the system, being like, companies can do this now. They could just be like, yeah, contracts were up. We didn't want to negotiate. It's over. So based on that, I think that's going to be a continuing trend, a scary trend going forward.
Do you have any predictions on who the surprise disbandment?
I refuse to say that though, because I don't want to piss people off. But I think there will be at least one this year.
Oh boy.
Oh well.
That's kind of scary.
I don't disagree though, I'll be honest.
Right?
I can see the argument for it, yeah.
Yeah. Like you mentioned G-Friend, like people like Lovelyz,
Right.
I don't
all
disagree.
All the disbandments that happen.
Tomorrow, like next year's the year where like a lot of third generation groups are gonna start wrapping up their contracts. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Oof.
See what happens.
All right, Nina, hit us with a third take.
Third take. I'm gonna go with the one about sound or genre. So kind of like going off last year's prediction, hyperpop. I feel like we got a little bit of it, like I mentioned with aespa, 17, some B-sides. I feel like it's gonna get another shot. I feel like it probably might be more present in the music release next year. Maybe still not at the 100% level that you might hear from Western artists, I think, but I think still going to be there. And I feel like it's viable. Like Warren mentioned, I feel like it can be divisive for some people. Like you either really like it or you really don't. But if you have a listening base, an audience that really, really likes it, kind of like what happened with aespa, I feel like it will be a little bit of a trend that some groups will try out. So I think that's probably still going to happen.
Well, I think that's a perfect pivot into my prediction about genres as well, right? I think we're gonna see more hyper pop as well. I think it's.
Right.
I'm a little wary of saying it's gonna go mainstream anymore. I've learned my lesson there, but I still think we're gonna see more of it. I can see certain groups trying it out. I can see certain groups not making any sense to do it. So I hope they don't do it. Willem, I'm talking about you. Rocket Punch, please don't make hyperpop. It doesn't make sense. But I still feel like hyperpop's gonna it's gonna become one of the mainstreams of genres that we see next year. The other two genres that I feel like we're gonna see a lot. One I think is emo music, emo rock, punk rock.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
TXT really set the standard in terms of how K-pop can approach that genre. And I think that's gonna be a good go-to for a lot of boy groups, I think, as well as girl groups too. Why not? So that I think we're gonna see a lot. And then I have one called chill music, and I wasn't sure exactly how to kind of capture this sound. But I'm thinking about Peaches by Justin Bieber and Stay by Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi.
Oh.
Those two songs. We're already starting to see this a little bit. Like XOXO by Somi had a very Stay-esque aesthetic to it. YG has been doing that a bit really. And I think we're gonna see that expand a little bit, especially because the songs that we got were like very successful in the Western market as well as the domestic market too. So
if we base it sort of how K-pop started to do the Weekend sound like 6 months to a year after,
right?
That wouldn't be super surprising then,
It could happen.
Kind of functions like that.
To be frank, a lot of the K-pop trends do follow Western music trends. We had Weekend, and then we had a lot of songs that sounded like that kind of sound.
Starlight,
right? Then we had the what's her name? Charlie XCX. Not Charlie XCX. What's her name? The Future Nostalgia girl. Future Nostalgia.
Dua Lipa. Right? Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa. Right.
Yes.
We had Dua Lipa pop off. Then we had a whole bunch of disco stuff, and then we had
Doja
then we had a
Cat.
whole bunch of stuff that sounds like Doja Cat and SZA's "Kiss Me More" for a while too. It is how the market runs. It's not amazing, but it is how the market runs. So we're gonna see some of it, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's my next take. An older group becomes the Brave Girls of 2022.
Yes.
I think we're gonna get a trend where one old group will pop off every year.
I like that. I want that to happen.
I don't have any predictions as to who it is, but I think it's going to start to happen. Like, here's a group that might happen. People might rediscover 2 p.m. and they just might go number one for the next 2 songs.
2 p.m. already had a bit of a renaissance era though this year.
It wasn't like that big. I know in Korea it was. On the Western side, it wasn't though.
I agree with that, but I still feel okay. Well, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here.
I think someone will.
2 p.m.
Do you think it's more viable for it to be a girl group or a guy group? Like, I'm thinking.
I think it's more viable for it to be a girl group.
I agree.
Same.
I feel like
Same.
there's a lot of things that come into play there, but
What
I
if
want it to
people
happen.
all of a sudden like Tiara again? Something like that.
That could happen, I guess.
Right? Like, they're still trying, right? Like, I don't know.
Right. Stream roly poly.
Maybe.
All right, Anita, hit us with your fourth take.
Fourth take. Let's go with one about tech, I guess, or concepting. Basically, my take was everybody was gonna give the metaverse idea a shot, or at least the big companies, right, would attempt something in that area. And I guess I'm referring to kind of like what SM has already started with their SMCU, their Kwangya concepting that is extending to all of their artists under their company currently. I think it's very interesting. I think there's definitely a push for this idea of the digital presence that you can have as a person and how you interact in this digital place. And I think with COVID and with everything that's going on in the world, it's kind of even more pushed forward, even in like outside of music, like just in general. So I think companies thinking in that way might see like, oh, this might be a market we want to explore in. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it goes further than SM. Like if Hybe ends up doing something related to that, JYP, YG, the bigger companies I think could afford to do it, and they kind of already started as far as I can see with SM.
Well, here's the thing with the metaverse, right? The K-pop company doesn't have to create the metaverse.
Right, it's kind of already there.
Right, they can use a platform for their benefit. And that's why I agree with you. I wrote that presence of tech is going to continue to grow, but that's more of a general term for the metaverse continuing to grow. And you know, here's the thing. I'm getting a lot of news articles, seeing how industries go. I don't think this whole metaverse thing, I don't think it's a fad. I really don't think it's a fad.
At first I thought it was, to be honest,
Same.
but now that I read like more things coming out about it, like, oh, people are really investing in this.
Yeah, I think it's here to stay. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that same thing about NFTs as well. I don't know how, but I don't think they're gonna be a fad. I think it's gonna at least continue to stay next year.
There's gonna be like the photo card NFTs. Watch.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, no.
No, it might be gacha based too. You know,
Wow.
they might combine it because that's a very like Asian thing, and NFTs it'd be an easy way to bridge the gap because people will understand what it is.
The idea of needing a tech background and being on some sort of online platform that I think is going to continue to grow into something that is not optional.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm talking about more than just doing like V Lives and like Weverses, you know, a little more than that.
Okay, I had a fifth take that was super mild. KCON 2022 will happen in person. I have a nuclear take instead that I'm going to replace it with.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Justin Bieber will feature on a Hybe song next year.
Oh, I think that's very likely.
Is it?
Hey.
Is it?
I think so. He's gonna be featured.
Hey, that's
in
why we're writing it down.
Yeah, wasn't he already invited for the lineup of artists?
I don't know who it's
right?
going to be with. It might be on a BTS guy solo track or something.
Yeah.
Or a TXT song or something of that nature. But I'm going to predict that Bieber will feature on a Hybe song.
I still
Yeah.
feel like it's more likely the other way around, where Bieber has maybe Suga on a track or like.
Who knows? Okay, let's just
No.
say Justin Bieber and a Hybe artist will collab in 2022.
Okay,
That's the
there will
best
be a
way to put it.
Yes,
Okay, that's how we'll put it.
All right. Okay.
I definitely see that happening.
I can see that as well.
All right, Anita.
My last one, I guess, is kind of going off of the idea of platform and how companies are going to interact with online content. But I think TikTok is still very much the platform to be on as far as like reaching
sure.
a wider audience and making artists blow up. So I feel like the continued push for the K-pop artists being on TikTok will be there. And I also feel like the exposure that I've had, or I don't know if this is what I already have seen, is the idea of having like a point dance or something to recreate on TikTok, and that's kind of the base for groups to do. Like they do a short clip of a dance, upload it on TikTok. They have different people recreate the dance, and I feel like that makes sense. That's kind of what the platform was originally like. But I feel like the content now on TikTok goes beyond just that. So I think artists will go that route where either they do more content that might be like short vlogging, if that makes sense, like short clips that are kind of just regular behind the scenes. Maybe I feel like that would make sense on TikTok. I don't know. I feel like the content that is uploaded, I think,
That's
will
kind of
change.
smart. Like, what if,
Yeah.
like, some K-pop artists might just become TikTok famous, not for their
Exactly.
K-pop.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like, you know how there's dance cover people or there's like good-looking people who just have really poppin' TikTok accounts? I could see that happening with some K-pop people, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they probably will extend, or maybe go even further in to what they've already done. on TikTok.
I don't think that's a option anymore.
I agree.
Why are you not on TikTok if you're a K-pop musician? You should
Yeah.
be
Exactly.
doing anything to pop off. Yeah, and that's more of a requirement at this point, isn't it? Well, I'm gonna make a more of a hopeful take rather than a prediction. And this year especially, the stuff I hear on the news and like business talks and stuff like that, it feels like industries are moving towards being bringing out sustainable strategies, eco-friendly green marketing at the very least, at least trying to act like you're going for like sustainable strategies and practices, and if you're actually doing sustainable things, great. I saw a lot of consumers this year make the shift more and more to making purchases and supporting businesses that are sustainable and doing sustainable practices. And K-pop is a business; it's an industry. So why not hop on that trend and kind of act like, at least act like we're being, bringing out sustainable practices and eco-friendly marketing. A lot of times when I look at the consuming behavior of K-pop fans and the way we are actively encouraged to buy several different albums for the for sake of gacha
and the shipping.
Yeah, I mean, shipping is a big part of this because the carbon footprint of like the stuff on the planes, the stuff on the trucks,
it's huge.
It's all the CO2 is in the air, boys and girls.
When you do that DHL and it comes in 2 days from Asia, oh my god.
Here's the thing: I'm not like blaming you as a consumer if you're doing any of these. But if you're a company, my hope for you, and this is an open letter for K-pop companies, is let's figure out a way to make money, but in a sustainable way.
Recycled materials for your album.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think SM or JYP or YG or Hybe is going to be listening to this podcast.
Hey, how about you buy the album in a digital format, right? And they give you NFT photo cards. That might actually happen soon, right?
I also read some stuff about sustainability and NFTs. So but I'm not sure.
I know. So it's counterintuitive because they're pushing for metaverse and NFTs, but those are one of the big counter arguments is the environment. So it's hard to do both because you want to come off sustainable, but then you want to do NFTs. Maybe you turn your Bitcoin farm into like a power plant where it harvests the heat energy and does something good. No, honestly, that might be the future because a country like Singapore burns their garbage and then they use that energy for stuff. So I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility eventually, right? I don't know. We'll have to see though. I like that though. Eco-friendly.
You should.
Yeah,
I completely agree. So those are our predictions for 2022. I think honestly they're a little bit spicier than they typically are. At least mine are.
Justin Bieber.
I think that can happen.
I think that could happen. I think there's a 50-50 chance.
I think it could happen. I'm still going to be surprised when it happens.
Hey, I mean, he could just have like Suga on his track as a Korean rap verse in there at some point, It could happen. I mean, who thought they would have collabed with Coldplay this year?
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it at all.
Right.
The thing is, like Justin Bieber and both like Hybe artists, they will have stuff to gain out of that collab. So,
Right.
As long as J Biebs is down to do it, I know you are very busy with Justice, but hey,
we'll
kick
have to
off
see.
2022 with a new thing.
So that wraps up our SojuTalk year of 2021. I don't know if we'll have an episode next week. We'll let you know though in some form, because it is a quick turnaround for us. We have to record in 4 days. We'll see though. But this has been SojuTalk, a weekly shout at K-pop. Thank you everyone for joining us for the award show and the predictions. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warrenita for being here today. We'll be back in 2022 with more content for you all. So we'll see you then, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you for 2021. Bye-bye.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Bagel, Based Mina, Brian, Shadow, Cotton Ball, Delmonic, Ellie, Genki Boy, Goku Mama, Jacob, Liam's Games and Toys, Luke Daniels, and Jay Parks. Tier, thank you for joining SojuTalk. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erde, Koala, Mafiar, Max, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, and Wolf297.